Hello and welcome to this week's live stream, Future Auto Solutions. Gordy, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, thank you. And yourself?
Doing well, mate. Doing well.
Good.
So this is your first time coming across the channel. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you're alerted to each time we go live. What we do here is we're looking to enhance the customer experience of buying cars from for obviously customers and obviously from a dealer's perspective, so dealers can maximize those opportunities. And what we want to talk about today is 5 reasons why you will not be successful selling cars on Facebook or any other social media. Now, Gordy, we always, we say why you can be successful. We've done many videos of that in the past, but today focusing on why we can't. And, ahead of this, obviously, we had a little conversation. You said here are the 5 reasons, the main reasons why. So we're just going to go through each,
Yeah,
systematically and just have a little conversation about each. So number one is like content, right? What are you trying to say? That was what you thought was number one in the important things is the reason why people
yeah,
won't be successful.
yeah. I mean, what I meant by that, and I think we're going back to it, actually, which is what you alluded to, is the mindset of the dealer or of the person trying to sort of sell their cars on Facebook or trying to. I think a lot of people mindset of Facebook and typically manufacturers is about brand awareness and building, community where people sort of, they see what they're doing in the community and they see what
Mm-hmm.
they're, where my mindset and where I was at with Facebook was it's a selling tool, which is a very different angle and probably it's a more sort of coherent way now of doing business. Whereas the message and what you're trying to put out, of course, it's great to put out, things if charity events are doing in the community, people just collecting a new car, congratulations, all this is great stuff. But what you're trying to do and really where maybe a lot of people are missing out on and why it's failing to be a selling tool, not failing as in building brand awareness, but failing to create income and to give you direct sales and appointments, is that the message that they're putting out isn't a message of a call to action, as in, okay, let's make an appointment or let's communicate and have a conversation with these guys or this dealership or whoever it is posting. So, in the first sort of tee off of why things aren't working is really have a look at your Facebook, see what your last post was, and say, look, if I seen that having my breakfast, what would I do with it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What are they trying to tell me? Is it, oh, very good, they done a car wash, they done a, what I mean? What is it
Right.
they did?
Right.
Or wow, look at the value of that car. You know what I mean? It's a very different message. It's still a good message, and continue to do what you're doing. But what we're saying is here, okay, how can we turn Facebook into an actual selling tool and creating appointments and creating income straight away? So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
my first point, and it's the biggest game changer, and it's the biggest mindset change.
Yeah, yeah, and if someone's watching this and they go, okay, so then what should their content be? We've done previous videos on photos, how to
Absolutely,
take photos, how to actually sell on Facebook. So do go check those
yeah,
out where you can sort of see instructions on some of the approaches that we're using. So the second one you put is reach and following.
yeah. I mean, why I put reach and following. I mean, at the early stages when we were first talking about this, Steve, and sort of looking into different sort of people who had Facebooks and what they were doing. The thing that astonished me was established businesses, car businesses, 11 years, 15 years, family-run businesses, but their following was so small. I'm a
Mm,
single man band in Northern Ireland, and I had merely only gone 3 years, and I had nearly three times the amount of a dealership in New Jersey, or not New Jersey, sorry, in
Long
Long
Island.
Island,
Yeah,
who'd been working for 15 years.
yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. It's a missing opportunity, massive. So really, what you need to do is focus on. I mean, at the beginning is boosting your ads, putting the messages out, having people engage with your page, and start following. So that means then up ahead when you are putting out the messages and you are putting out, it's reaching people straight away without you putting any income in and without boosting. So if you're saying to me, why is my Facebook page not working? If then people were coming to me and saying, look, listen, we use Facebook, but it's not working. Well, I mean, who are you speaking to? Who's
Yeah.
actually reaching in your area,
Mm,
and it's about shouting the loudest and reaching as many people as you can. So, in Northern
right.
Ireland, we talk about chimney pots, how many
Mm-hmm.
chimney pots you're reaching. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's about how many people are you talking to. So, if you're only working and building and not building people as you go, then you're never going to reach, enough people to get the extra income.
Yeah, and it's sort of the dovetailing onto that a little bit, Gordy. I would just urge
Yeah,
anyone who's watching it to sort of have a look and go back and have a look at how much revenue you think Facebook generated for your business over this last month. And granted, this month may be a tough way to look at it
yeah,
given what we're going through, right? But pick a period where sales were good and go and look to see how much Facebook income generated, how much income it generated for you. And the approach that we're selling here, or we're encouraging here, it's 5 figures a month, right? That's how much profit it generates for the business. So it's not small. It's and as you
yeah,
pointed out, it's one person. Now, if you think of a dealership and you turned them on to this, and you had 5 or 6 people who were doing this, well, would that help your business? Would that add additional value to your sales process? So,
absolutely.
moving on to number 3,
Yeah,
response time.
yeah. This is my biggest win. We've talked about it many times. As soon as someone sends me a message or it comes through on my phone, I mean, the beauty of Facebook is it's completely, tablet, phone, desktop. It's everything. So I mean, no, there's never an excuse really that you cannot respond to someone and give them a, how you doing? Thanks for getting in touch. But unfortunately, the way things are run within dealerships and within, it's either an outsourcing company who's doing they're talking on Facebook. It's a marketing department who work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, who's answering their Facebook responses. So this is lost opportunities because what you're doing is someone's taking the time out of their day, whenever it is, to contact you and say, look, listen, I've seen your post, I'm interested, give me some information or try and get me into your showroom. And if you're saying, thanks for getting in touch, but we'll speak to you in 3 days. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Someone contacts you on a Friday late afternoon, your marketing team's away home and they're not back into Monday morning, but Monday morning they've got a meeting, they've got something else and they've got something else and they'll get to it maybe on Monday afternoon and then they'll pass it on to the salesperson. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just far, far too long. And we talk about a sales funnel, and about putting as many people in there, and obviously it's got holes in it and people are escaping and you're missing opportunities. So it's a massive, to me, my instant response to people. I mean, you've tried it yourself with me, Steve. You've sent me a few
I
curveballs
have.
over just
I
to see if
have.
I'm awake in silly hours and silly times, and I'm
You
straight
are?
back at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
exactly. You have to be. You have to
Yeah.
be.
And sort of the key here is, right, so it's the individual who is managing that Facebook sales channel has to
Absolutely.
change their mindset on, again, we talk about mindset, right? But again,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it is what are you trying to do when you're selling? You're on 24/7. When you're on Facebook and you're selling, your shop's not closed. And you have
Never.
to respond. You have to respond. You have to be ready to respond to your customers
And
reach out.
Steve, we're not talking about a full engagement conversation where it's reams and reams and it's sometimes people just want the bare bones
Mm-hmm.
and then they're interested and it's very simple. I mean, it takes a couple of seconds for a fire response back, and you'll see immediately how shocked they are you're back to them and how appreciative they are that you're straight back to them with the
Right.
information. And and it's always a thing. Wow, you're actually working. Sorry for disturbing you. And you're like, no, it's okay. I'm just
Yep.
grabbing some dinner. I'm just doing
Yep.
whatever I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
it's no
Yeah.
no problem. So
No,
you
that's a
know,
great point. It's a great point. So number
yeah,
4, over promising and under delivering.
yeah. So I know it sounds it's just a strange thing, but I find people's marketing and things they put on not just Facebook, on internet, on adverts, on the 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 advert can be very misleading. Where someone gets excited about an advert and then they actually get the finer detail of the advert, and it's unachievable. I mean, it's a massive deposit. It's a stupid length of time. It's a really low mileage setting. So my thing is, yes, people think dealerships and DPs and all this sort of thing have the thing. Well, it'll get people interested. It'll get people contacting you. Yes, it does, but I also find it also puts the salesman straight back on the back foot. So I think, to make things really aggressive and to make things, where it's going to be a success for you is to put an offer out there that when someone calls, it is what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
You're not over promising, you're not under delivering. You're actually telling someone, okay, yes, that's available. That's the cost of it. There's nothing hidden. That is it. And and then what you're doing is you're taking away any sort of objection handling questions, any sort of, stumbling blocks in the road, things that you have to overcome. What you're doing is you're making it simple and as clear. And again, we talked about it last week. It's trust between the person buying the car and the person selling the car. And there's nothing worse than going somewhere when you're excited about something and then you sit down in front of the person and it's like, whoa, 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 this is not what. Do you know what I mean? It's deflating. It's deflating, and then what you're having to do as a salesperson is try and recover that situation. You know what I mean? And you've lost all the trust you've built up. You've lost all the feel good factor, and you're going backwards almost instead of actually taking the deal forward. So again, it's just really when you're sitting down looking at a deal, structuring, think about it, and when you're putting it on, really think about it and think about who you're trying to sort of attract with the message, and make sure it's clear and it's precise and it's not overpromising and under-delivering. And that was what I meant. Yeah.
No. I think it's great. It's so easy, I think, with to make grandiose statements whenever you are marketing a dealership in total, because in essence that's what the way most people use marketing for.
Absolutely.
Or you're marketing a brand of a car. But actually what you're doing on social media is you're marketing a single car. Every single car is being marketed by itself, and that's when you use then that transparency and so on and so forth is so true and so valid, right? So reviews was your last point, but reviews you prefaced it by it can be your biggest help or your biggest hindrance.
Yeah. The problem, and it's a constant thing in your mind when you start. This is your structure of your business, and this is your how you go about marketing and achieving customers and sales is, unfortunately reviews are out of your control, and they're subjective, and they're people's own experience, and they can be as free as they want to be when they're sending out reviews. It is my biggest strength when people, from where I'm from, as a single one-man band, and I'm trying to create a Facebook and and customers and gaining sales every month. My only thing is, and it's my biggest reference. I say, listen, whenever they ask me a question or they start to try and, who is it I'm dealing with here? I always revert them to my reviews, because my reviews are about, how simple it is, how smooth the transaction is, how warm and easy and everything else, and how great the car has been. So it's easy for me to do that. But I do a wee bit of work with other dealerships and other Facebooks in Northern Ireland here, and unfortunately, that is not the same for every place. And it's you can't refer people to reviews. You're almost avoiding the conversation of reviews, because there's people that haven't been happy or they've been let down by simple things. And this is where, when you're opening yourself up to having the platform of Facebook and how strong it is and how great it is, it also can be your biggest hindrance, because, if you aren't dealing with the people right and you aren't getting back to people, and, and it can be fixed by the simplest of, just actually being honest and open with the customer and actually trying to, show a bit of empathy and actually assist the customer. It doesn't always mean you have to pay for it all, but it's actually just showing that empathy. It can go a long way to them not leaving that poor feedback. And, and again, it's getting back to the conversation last week. It's all about trust and building, awareness around the dealership or around your own business, or, you always want to have strong feedback. And I always share my feedback. I always put it out there on the page, and, and people see it, and I pin it at the top of my page. So it's the first thing people see. So I mean, it's like, just the latest person who bought the car, pinned to the top, and it's just this great review. So, it, as I say, it can be your biggest strength, which is mine, or it can be your biggest hindrance where you're almost hiding from it. So it's just if people are starting out, and don't get me wrong, if it's bad, and if it's I took over a dealership. Sorry to veer away from where I took over a dealership, at Vauxhall. This is before I went out on my own, and our customer service and our feedback and our reviews were terrible. But in 6 months, we turned it around completely, because we addressed the situation. So if it is at the minute not as good as it should be, or, there's a few there that, it can be easily turned around if you focus on it, and yet you make the salespeople focus on it. If you put an incentive in for the salespeople to get them to sort of, really push it and get the customers to give good feedback, it can be turned around. But again, it's another service we could sort of look into, Steve, whenever we're sort of going on it. But I mean, but it is, as I say, it's something can be your biggest help or it can be your biggest hindrance.
Yeah, no, and I think it's really important to sort of identify. And you went through the five things really, really well. If I had to put an overarching thing on it, it is a mind shift. It really is,
Yeah,
right? It is a
massively.
completely different approach. We've sort of articulated little elements of it through this conversation, but if I was to summarize it up, it's mindset, it's transparency, it's content interaction, and yeah, it just really evolves everything. And as we think about, where is the future of car dealerships? Where is that
Yeah,
going? And is it going? Do you believe individually, someone who's watching this, or I'll ask you openly, Gordy, is like, you know, I see as someone who's bought cars recently that actually there's a real risk to your dealership or a car salesman's position with the likes of Carvana and other things like that are going for online
absolutely.
sales that are just like
Yeah,
they're just flying at the moment, right? If you look
yeah,
at their stock prices and so on and so forth. So there is a real shift, and how are you going to remain relevant as this shift takes place? And the approach that we find really useful is to interrupt someone's breakfast or interrupt someone's dinner or interrupt someone who's just doing whatever with a really,
yeah,
really nice pitch, nice photos, price easily, clearly understood, and to your point, trust and transparency in that response. And whenever they turn up, actually they're
that's
really
you delivering.
thrilled
Yeah,
by what you've said and trust everything you've said because that's what they see. And as you
yeah,
noted there, right, so we're offering a free 15-minute consult. If you reach out to us, info.futureautosolutions@gmail.com. Reach out to us. We're happy to work with. If you want to set up by yourself, let's have a conversation about that. If you're a dealership and you want to learn how to make these adjustments and sell this way, we'll do that. And also, if you need to turn around your ratings, happy to advise on that too.
absolutely.
And yeah, so I think these are exciting times. I think these are real opportunities. And yeah, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Gordy. Well, look, I appreciate your insights. I appreciate your thoughts as always. Remember, if you're come across the channel, you like it, to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We will be going live on Sue, TSU, which is the social media company that pays. It's at alpha stage at the moment. It's still early. There's a link below. If you click on that link on your mobile, on your cell phone, you can then go and join up and you can follow us over there as well. And that'll be a lot more interactive. It's going to be a community we're going to build there. We'll be able to respond. You'll be able to ask questions. It will be a private network, so it'll be closed. You have to join. You won't be able to see the content. But so go join Sue, and connect with us on there. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you there soon. All right, Gordy. Thank you for today.
Thank you. Take care. You too, mate.